Hey everybody, it's Tony Schiavone of All Elite Wrestling, and this is True Hill Heat. And I said it right, you motherfuckers.
Alright, ready when you are.
Hey guys, I may have go away heat, but these guys have true heel heat. So you better listen to the podcast or else I'm gonna kick you in your fucking cock and balls.
I'll get it.
Welcome to True Heel Heat, the place where we use insider terms because we think we know what the fuck we're talking about, even though we don't. My name's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it.
Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with True Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel, as well as our True Hill Heat Facebook and Twitter for our Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4, Episodes 4 and 5 review. Yes, we're back at it. We took a couple of weeks off, but it's been too long. We took a couple of days off as well because me and Krssi Love could not get on the same page as far as our schedules for this week, but we are back, and we're back at it to talk some Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. And we got a lot to discuss. We're going to talk about episodes 4 and 5. I might drop in some episode 6 discussion as well. But yes, we're back at it, and I am with it all alone today, just like I was over on the True Hill Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. I am here dolo solo on this, what is this, a Friday? Yeah, it's a Friday afternoon for you in the US, Friday evening for me in the UK, but we're here to talk some Power Book 3 Raising Kanan Season 4 review, episodes 4 and 5, and boy oh boy has this season, man, picked up quickly. Picked up with a theory, in my opinion. There's a lot. The last 3 episodes have just been really top notch, in my opinion. Right off the bat, I will just say Power Book 3 Raising Kanan has completely taken the crown as the best spin-off to Power of any of the books. I liked book 4 Force a lot, especially season 2. I liked Ghost a whole lot. I loved Ghost seasons 2 and 3. Season 4, they didn't expect to be over, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But man, Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, exceptional stuff. So we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about episodes 4 and 5. Like I said at the top, we'll talk maybe a little bit about episode 6 as well, but that'll be on a separate review for you to be on the lookout for. So appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible is by dropping the thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your Power Universe friends, family, fans on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. I think we're 1 subscriber away from 850. We're 50 away from 900 subscribers on this channel, and we're 150 so subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers here on our second channel. So always appreciate the support for anyone who is a fan of TV and movies as well as sports. This is a place for you to enjoy. And yes, sound off if you're with us in the live chat. I'll highlight as many comments as possible. No super chats needed here. We're not monetized yet on this channel. So thank you, Dion Jenkins, for joining us today. Back to back. Yes, I think I saw you in the live chat for our Dark Side of the Ring review. And yes, you're showing some love to me. Appreciate you, sir. Back to back pods, brother, putting in work. Indeed. I try my best on this Friday evening for me in the UK. Right when I'm done with this, I'm going to watch some Celebrity Big Brother with my missus, and I also am going to work on the agenda for tomorrow's flagship podcast. So content never sleeps. But let's talk some Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. Probably my favorite show right now on television. I am loving, we have her in the thumbnail, but Haley Kilgore as Jukebox might be my favorite actress in the game right now. I'm sorry. Like, oh man, I watched episode 6 earlier today. Oh man, it's getting good. But we're going to talk episode 4 first. Episode 4 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, season 4. Episode 4 was entitled The Way We Were. The Way We Were. Boy, oh boy, some things were gonna change on this episode. You could even just tell from the title of the episode. But Dion Jenkins says in the chat, haven't seen episode 6 yet, but I don't see Marvin making it through the season. Please don't put that in the air, Dion. Come on, we've said this before, me and Miss Krssi Love on our Raising Kanan review. Uncle Marvin may be our favorite character in the entire Power universe. It's really, for me, it's like 1, 2. It's Tommy Egan and Marvin Thomas. Marvin Thomas is number 2 behind Tommy for me as far as my favorite characters in the Power universe. But I will admit, I understand Dion because he has been fucking up quite a bit in this season, and we're going to talk about some of his fuck ups in this episode here. So yes, we're going to start off with episode 4, The Way We Were. The episode begins with Marvin attacking Tremon at the Evora Hotel, taking him hostage, because as we ended last week's episode, they got the information from Joaquin that Tremon had kept coming to New York and he loved it out there, but they want to find out who his connect is because they are done with Quan and doing the price raise, and Quan up here missing Unique, so they said fuck all of that. They want Tremon to give them the connect. So Marvin basically attacks him in the hotel room and then takes him as a hostage. He's dressed as like a hotel attendant, so he puts him in the towel bin, and he walks out with his lollipop in his mouth and everything. Meanwhile, Rock is busy trying to make sense of her mother's death confession from episode 3. She says that Joyce is trying to make an exit and leave them without any amends. She doesn't want to make amends. She's very stubborn. She's more stubborn than even Rock. Joyce states that she has had a lot of faults, but was trying her best all the same. Rock walks out saying that she is still not ready to forgive her mother. If she's looking for forgiveness, she's going to the wrong person because that's not Raquel Thomas. Elsewhere, Kanan and Crystal are settling into their new home as OC stops by with a money drop. We don't know what exactly transpired between OC and Unique at this time from the previous episode, from episode 3, when Unique invaded Kanan's old apartment. Kanan is aware that some robbery took place in his previous apartment, but something feels off about the whole thing. Maybe OC has flipped by has been flipped by Unique. So we shall see. Jukebox drops in, and Kanan leaves her to catch up with Crystal. She tells Crystal that she wants her to make amends with her after, as we remember from season 3, Crystal had her friends jump Jukebox because she wanted to be the Beyonce of the Butter group. In the meantime, Marvin dishes out some physical punishment for Tremont at an empty swimming pool. The latter pleads with Marvin to stop, but the Thomas family enforcer seems comfortable handling this in a direct way. Rock arrives and asks Tremont to hand out the name of his heroin supplier. At Kanan's new home, Crystal apologizes to Jukebox for what she did to her at Butter. Although it seems like too messy to come back from, the two girls reach an understanding, which is that they both have a lot of love for Kanan and that he's most important to them. We skip across town to Lulu, who's with B-Rilla, who are recording the latter's new song at the studio. A woman named Imani Okoye introduces herself as the new product manager of B-Rilla. She intends to take B-Rilla's hip-hop songs into the pop market, but Lulu doesn't seem like he fuck with her at all. Kanan meets up with Snaps and Pop Henry with the month's latest cut. Then we get, they are very unhappy that he is short because he explains that the robbery hit him hard and caused him to lose out on some cash. They state that the variability, basically the difference is a big no-no in their business. You can never come short to Snaps and Pop. Kanan must learn to be consistent if he wants to make it big, says Snaps. They promise to hook him up with Quan, though, as a way to help him take a step away from being his mother's soldier. Kanan is more than happy to accept this deal because, he still don't fuck with his moms. Meanwhile, Unique tells Early Tyler he is ready to make himself known to the world. However, the time still isn't right, says Early. And when Marvin stops by, he's like, if you want to make yourself known, now's the time. And Unique skedaddles out of there. Early sees what the house call is about. Marvin offers Early the chance to do his illegal bookmaker duties for them at Corona with some big players. So he has to basically introduce him to Stefano after the last episode when Marvin iced the bookie. Jukebox hangs out at the lesbian bar once more, with Mara keeping her company. A girl named Jackie approaches her for a drink, but she is too surprised to do anything except turn her down. She seems very nervous. She was like, I know she was kind of like a little bit reserved with Nicole, but she has experience. She should be able to, put some game. She has experience with Nicole, experience with the other girl from Butter and stuff. It's like, come on, Juke. Act like you got some game. Mara says that eventually the bar will feel like home and the people will feel like family. Unhappy at being told to lay low once more, Unique goes on an escapade once again. This time he meets up with Damon, who states that he has nothing of interest anymore that Unique would want from him. The latter makes it clear that Rock is the one who took his business, not him. Damon is the guy that used to be a soldier for Rock, who was supposed to be taking over the New Jersey business when they took over New Jersey in season 2. But it was this was when Unique basically came out of jail and basically ran game with the Italians, and he was friends with Sal. So Sal told Rock that she had to put Unique in charge of the Jersey business. So Damon was kicked out, or was supposed to be the number 2, but he just skedaddled up out of there because he didn't want to play number 2 to Unique. It seems like a shaky excuse, but it gets him through Damon's door. At the same time, Jukebox and Mara's wonderful evening is cut short when a shady looking man emerges from the shadows and comes after Mara. Mara reveals that that's her husband, and he throws Jukebox to the curb. Jukebox gets her face all raked up as he forces Mara, grabs her up, and forces her into a car. Rock and Marvin arrange a meeting with Ishak, who is Traymon's heroin supplier. The Thomas family matriarch makes it clear that she plans to establish a direct supply chain without any middleman involved. Ishak is pensive about the deal, but tells her to come by the next day without any lackeys, meaning Marvin, to get him the fuck out of here. At Lowell's office, Imani and Lulu argue about the latter being dismissive of her when they first met. Lowell tells Lulu that even if he is capable of doing all the jobs by himself, Lulu's very confident. He's like, I can do all this shit. He's like, you shouldn't have to, and he can't do them all well. Thus, the teamwork is a priority, not a suggestion. He sets up a date between Imani and Lou later this evening. Meanwhile, Marvin takes early to meet Stefano Marchetti, which I was just like, what are we doing? Marvin, you can't trust early Tyler. Why are there so many people trusting untrustworthy, disloyal sons of bitches? Like, Early is such a crafty, shady motherfucker. Even if I didn't know that he was associated to Unique, I would think that you shouldn't trust him, Marvin. But Marvin is too trusting, as we've learned from last season with the white boy from his therapy. We'll see how this is gonna go. We got Dion, who says Rock has no redeeming qualities to me. She's a great mother. Nah, she's a great boss. She's a great crime boss. I will give her that. I will give the way she's able to convince people. Yes, she sometimes needs the force of Marvin, but a lot of times she could just talk to people, like she did with Terry. She did that with Terry. She was able to talk him into staying in business with her. So Marvin takes early to meet Stefano, the man offering the job in Corona. While the Godfather is happy to forge a working relationship with Early, he makes it perfectly clear that Marvin's neck will be on the chopping block if something goes wrong. Which means his neck is going to be on the chopping block because something's always going to go wrong with Marvin, it seems. I love Marvin, but goddamn, he just sets himself up for failure, it seems. Snaps and Pop make good on their promise as Kanan meets up with Quan. The latter greets Kanan and asks him how he is dealing with the 20% price hike. The boy does not make much of a fuss about it, stating that he is just working harder. He also tells Quan to treat him separately from his mother. Elsewhere, Unique and Damon put on some masks before hitting another operation run by Rock, a Chinese food company. They storm the building and shoot the workers willy-nilly. Once the devastation is enough, they make swift exits, but along the way, Damon gets shot and he's dead. Across town, Lulu and Imani have their date at Cafe Vu. The latter states that she has no intention of interfering in Lou's and B-Rilla's work, especially not the musical aspects. However, she wants to redefine B-Rilla for the masses. She also states that she would have preferred to work with Famous, which we still don't know Famous's fate. We would learn in episode 5, but at this point, we did not learn. Miss you, Faye. Rock and Marvin are called in to respond to the factory, Unique and Damon's hit. They urge the boss, Terry, to toughen up and not to panic before heading out. Marvin and Rock are clearly worked up over the fact that someone is masterminding these attacks on their stores. Surprisingly, Kanan shows his face at Don Stefano's restaurant. Kanan's got some balls on him, intending to introduce himself as a business partner of the Godfather. However, he is quickly dismissed and sent back home after Stefano clarifies that he only deals with Rock and that Kanan should be grateful to have a loving mother. His intentions are noble, but they may have the opposite effect on Kanan, because we know Kanan is a stubborn son of a bitch, especially with his stubborn streak and his basically his volatile relationship with his mother. Elsewhere, Marvin finds out that someone attacked Jukebox, while Rock is led to an intimidating black sedan by Ishak. Unique continues to plot his revenge against Rock and the Thomas family. He found a new ally in his cause in Teresa Baselli, Sal's wife. If you remember correctly, in season 3, Marvin shot Sal and killed him at a wedding reception, and that was on orders from Rock, from Stefano. She urges him to get payback for both of them. Meanwhile, Rock is taken up to a pristine suite at a hotel where she meets with Ishak's real boss, Hafiz. Yes, Hafiz. The latter tells Rock that setting up another direct supply line will take more work, which she is up for. Impressed by her, he tells her he will be in touch. Kanan stopped by his Uncle Lou's apartment, questioning his living arrangements with B-Rilla in the process. The conversation eventually turns to Famous as they question where he might be. They're both very concerned, and these are the two members of the Thomas family who have the closest relationship with Famous, from Famous being like a brother to Kanan, and Lulu working so closely with him with the music. The NYPD shows up at Rock's doorstep with news not about Famous, but about Andre Barnes, her lawyer. It took like 2 episodes before she found out what the hell happened. Although they don't officially suspect her for any of the wrongdoing, they are curious how her name pops up in an impromptu moment and cases, and says that she was the last meeting that he had on the books before his death. Marvin and Jukebox take a ride to Mara and her husband's Aaron's house. The former intends to dish out some pain as payback for his daughter being hurt. However, the whole plan goes awry when Aaron manages to get the upper hand. He gets a knife in his shelf case as he's fighting with Marvin, and it looks like he's about to. I mean, you had Dion say it earlier. It looked like he wasn't even gonna make it past episode 4 at one point. He gets carved up with the knife on his arm. As the knife bears down on Marvin, Jukebox, who asks Marvin to leave the gun in the car, she takes the gun from the car and she blasts Aaron right in the back of the dome piece. You just see the blood splatter all over Marvin's face. She pulls the trigger and takes out Aaron. Father and daughter run back to the car, speechless about the debacle that just happened. As they are driving away, it is pretty evident on their faces that they are in trouble, but at the same time, you see this weird smile on Jukebox's face, like she got like a thrill from shooting that nigga. I feel like this moment right here, this was the best ending of the season at that point. And this was like it was really kind of the birthplace of Jukebox, the villain that would become the villain of Power, the OG Power. Because the look on Haley Kilmore's face, this is when her acting took up a notch. She is slowly, surely becoming the Jukebox. The real Jukebox is being born before our eyes here. We got Dion. It says no hesitation from Juke, not at all. She's a born killer now. Now she's been trained. She went to the army. She's been trained to do this now. This is all and we would find out that a lot of this comes from her family and her family background, and being in the Thomas family has caused her to get like this. But it's also the fact that she's been trained. Now she's a trained killer. She's not just she was born a killer, probably in a lot of ways, from being in the Thomas family, but now she's a trained killer, which just takes everything up a notch. Now she's going to be precise, no hesitation. She will pull the trigger whenever her family is in trouble. Now the family has a soldier in it. So that was episode 4, The Way We Were. I thought this was a really strong episode. I thought from back to front, they really pulled things off and really told a nice story with the attack from Mara's husband, Aaron, leading to the whole climactic scene at Aaron and Mara's house, after she got the address actually from Mara, which we would get that question in the next episode here, and further kind of sow seed seeds being planted for the famous reveal that we would get in episode 5, which we're about to review right now. But before we do that, Dion in the chat, anybody else in the chat, or if you're watching us on demand, in the comments down below, let us know what you thought about episode 4, The Way We Were. Did you give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle? Out of 10, what did you give that show, that episode? And who was the MVP and LVP of that episode as well? And I'll go with moment of the episode. Instead of match of the night, moment of the episode. So real easy. Episode 4, The Way We Were. Thumbs up, thumbs out, thumbs in the middle in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up from me. Out of 10, I'm going to give that episode an 8.5 out of 10. I think that the moment of the episode is definitely the ending with Jukebox shooting Aaron in the back of the head. That's the moment of the episode, and that really takes things up a notch because that had you on the edge of your seat. You really didn't know. It was like, is Marvin about to be up out of here? What is about to happen here? So there was a lot of questions going on. I was very scared for a moment. I thought my man Marvin was up out of here, and like I told y'all, Marvin's my favorite character on this show. He's probably my favorite character in the entirety of Power right now, outside of maybe Tommy. There's Tommy, and then there's Tommy, and then there's Marvin for me. But yeah, I was very scared for that one. But Jukebox is getting up there. Jukebox is a close second behind Marvin. Like father, like daughter. You were seeing the killer being born, and I love to see it. I love to see it. Jukebox transformation this season has probably been my favorite thing about this season, and this was like a crucial moment in it. So that's why I got to give that the moment of the episode. MVP for the episode is, of course, Jukebox for shooting Aaron in the back of the head. Plus, he's an abuser. He's abusing his wife. Fuck that nigga. Fuck that nigga. He deserved to die. He deserved to die, right? Right? We're all in agreement here. And MVP for the episode, I mean, gotta be Aaron, right? He died. He's got to be the LVP of the episode. I mean, things ain't going well for Rock with Unique hitting up all her businesses and causing issues for her, even bigger issues as we would see in the next episode. But yeah, I'm gonna go with LVP Aaron, MVP Juke. We got Dion, who gives it an 8 out of 10. We got Dion, who gives it a MVP to Juke. And he also got Dion, who says Marvin ain't going out to that jobber. To be fair, you do have a point there. But that was episode 4, The Way We Were. And now we're going to move on to episode 5 for season 4 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, The Nail That Sticks Up. This episode starts with a flashback scene, and this is very different from a lot of different powers. Like, even in the past, we've had so many key crucial characters. You had Ghost in the OG Power and Tommy, and they always used to talk about their past with Kanan and with Breeze and growing up together, and Tommy with Kate Egan, Ghost with meeting Angela and Tasha, and they never really gave us any flashback scenes. It wasn't until like season 4 of Ghost, the second series, Power Book 2 Ghost, that we even got any flashback scenes for any of the characters. And for the flashback scene that we got for that character, it was Monet. And that pretty much all set up Monet getting killed by the end of the season. We got background on how she got into the game, how she started dealing, how she became the boss of the family, and then by the end of the season, she gave up her life for Kane. So you knew when you get a flashback episode at episode 5, it's going to be episode 5. It usually always has a major murder, no matter which power book we're talking about. You had in Ghost, I think it was season 3, episode 5 was when Lorenzo died. You can go back to probably season 1 season 1 of Power. There was multiple deaths because that was when Pink Sneakers was on her shit when she was killing all these niggas, and when she stabbed up Ruiz, I think was episode 5 of the first season of the OG Power. But episode 5 is always a crucial season, and 9 times out of 10 someone's gonna die or someone's gonna be confirmed dead in that episode. We got Dion who says, "Yeah, I knew something was up when they started with showing flashback." You know, yeah, and anytime after Ghost season 4 and the Monet flashbacks, anytime you see a flashback in Power, it's probably for a murder, or probably to go back over a murder, or to give context, extra context to a character. So this one was a flashback scene to Famous's childhood in an abusive home. One night, tired of his father's constant threats and beatings, Famous's mom takes him and his sister away from the house and takes refuge at a homeless shelter. This stupid ass young Famous, he's getting his ass kicked because I guess he stole money from his father, and then his mother gets beaten, and Jessica has to tell him to stay in his room, and then his mom wakes him up from his sleep and gets him and Jessica out there. They had a car waiting for them to go to the homeless shelter, and this nigga Famous got to go back into the house to get his toy from his room, and his father almost caught him, which led to his mother having to stab his father in the side of the stomach, and his father just kept walking like it was nothing. I was like, God damn, he's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit abusing a kid. I don't think you should abuse your wife, any female, or a kid. That's off limits. If you're a man, you don't do that type of shit. If you do that type of shit, you're a piece of shit. That's my public service announcement. In the present day, we get Olga, Famous's mom, who visits Detective Garcia at the precinct to inquire about why it is taking him so long to find her son. However, he shifts the blame to Kanan, stating that Famous may have likely just run away from home or been in cahoots with the titular character. Elsewhere, Rock and Marvin talk about their recent problems with the Chinese businesses, especially after Unique attacked their factory run by Terry and David. David is the cokehead little brother of Terry. Terry's the one that's really in charge. So Rock is basically going to give Marvin the talk about basically making sure you could be tough with Terry, but don't, be soft at the same time. He's like, ease back a little bit. Don't go too hard on him because we need him to drive these trucks. Kanan also discusses his operation with OC, who is concerned about the money situation in their little racket. He says that he still has no idea who stole from them, which sounds like a lie, and it would be proven to be a lie in this episode. Mara meets up with Jukebox at a diner, asking her directly if she was involved in Aaron's death because she gave her the address before all this happened. Jukebox denies the claims, stating that she had nothing to do with it. In the meantime, Lulu and Imani move around town, scouting out new talent to sign onto their roster. The former feels unimpressed in the beginning with Imani's picks. However, eventually he sees her eye for music and decides to sign a band named the Drawdown Disciples. He also likes this white boy, but she tells him that that's a little bit tougher to work because his lawyer of a mother is his manager. Meanwhile, Jukebox takes care of the wound on Marvin's arm, the same one that he got in the scuffle with Aaron from the knife. The father and daughter have yet to talk about the incident with Aaron, which Jukebox seems unwilling to get into. Basically, Marvin tells her that, something like that, killing somebody, it stays with you and it creeps up on you. And he was like, did the army kind of prepare you to be fine with that? And she was like, if I'm fine with this, it has nothing to do with the army. It's basically telling him it's because of you and this goddamn crazy family, the Thomas family. This Thomas family is fucked up. We see Kanan drop by a secret warehouse location where he drops his latest cash collection into a chest full of stacked bills. So I'm hoping that he doesn't get this shit robbed from him, because this would be a nice setup for Kanan opening up the car wash where he can clean his money. Because we know that Kanan cleaned his money through a car wash from the original series of Power, because that's how Tommy and Ghost got the ideas to open up the dry cleaning businesses, which they originally were cleaning their money before Truth opened. I love when they tie stuff together. When we're tying stuff together here, like I said, the moment of episode 4 was Jukebox killing homie, because that is the origin story of Jukebox becoming a stone cold killer. And I feel like this, maybe Kanan stacking this money, is eventually going to lead to him cleaning the money through the car wash. Rock and Marvin make a house call at Terry's factory, where they find David. The drug operation has been stalled because of recent fears around security, which is unacceptable for the Samus family and its matriarch, Rock. She and Marvin threaten David to get his act together. He's just a whacked out cokehead, basically, and convince his brother to go about his business like an obedient soldier. We'll see how that works, because now Marvin is on the job to toughen him up, be tough with him, but gentle at the same time. This is two things that conflict with who Marvin is at this point. In the meantime, Kanan and Jukebox visit by Miss Figueroa, Olga Figueroa, Famous's mom, who is desperately tracking down any lead she can relating to her son. Although Kanan is unable to help her, he promises to find out more about the situation and locate Famous as soon as he can. As they leave to tend to a family situation, Miss Figueroa remembers how a young Famous brought home a dog one night, which she allowed him to keep as long as he took responsibility for everything. Famous named the dog the Hulkster because he reminds him of Hulk Hogan. And apparently Famous was a wrestling fan, and he was a Hulk Hogan fan. If only he knew. If only he knew. If only he knew. Terrence from Florida. I guess the dog was a racist. Makes sense to me. And that also is a little bit of also tying stuff together from season 3, because if you remember in season 3, Olga found Famous's gun that he killed Freddy with in his room in the closet, and maybe she just looked through the closet. She's found she's been in the habit of going through his closet ever since he hid the dog in there, and that's when she found the gun, and she handed it in to the cops, which she probably has some regrets over now that Famous has been missing. It's all your fault, Olga. Sorry, I had to say it. Why are you giving the cops the gun? You found a gun from your son? Don't give it to the cops. Throw it in a river somewhere. That's my suggestion. That was stupid. In a different part of town, Unique follows up on his conversation with Teresa Baselli and meets her contact, Phil Russo, who is one of the bosses for the Italians in New Jersey. While Unique has plans to work with him to bring down Rock, the latter has some different ideas. Russo's not fucking with him. He does it first. Russo tells him that his information, what he's heard, is that Rock had nothing to do with his attempted murder, and he says that he thinks that he knows more about who tried to murder him more than him. And it's like, dude, you're not listening. You were so gun-ho. You were just so fucked up in the head after that beating that you're just not listening to logic and reason. He's got his ears more to the streets than you do. You were getting freaking third-person information from early Tyler. How the fuck do you know who tried to kill you? Stupid ass nigga. Russo wants Unique to prove his worth as a handy businessman first, before he is willing to offer any help in his vengeful crusade against the Thomas family, who also have the backing of Stefano Marchetti, who is the main boss of the Italians. He's the godfather in New York. Meanwhile, Kanan and Jukebox show up at Joyce's house to deal with the family emergency. It turns out that their grandmother fell down and hurt herself. Jukebox calls up the hospital and the rest of the family. At the same time, Lulu and Imani arrange a meeting later at his place. Not a meeting to talk about music, for Imani to show Lulu her music collection. I knew what that means. It means that she wanted to get dick the fuck down. Before Lulu receives the message about Joyce's fall. Rock sits down with Quan once more, looking to clear the air between their businesses. She asks him to be honest about his real problem with her. He states that he had a close relationship with Unique and was not impressed by how she took over his business without batting an eye after he was gone. On her way out, she receives the text about Joyce. After this meeting, it's all a wrap for Quan and Rock working together. He doesn't want to work with her. She doesn't want to work with him. She basically calls him less than a man, says that he got hurt feelings out here. She was like, I don't want a trustworthy man. I just want a man. And you ain't one. You a bitch ass nigga with this price increase and all this bullshit that he's pulling. Yeah, I think that Quan's a little bit of a bitch. You mad that you working with a woman and you miss a man? Yo, grow a set, Quan. Quan is a fucking whack. Quan is fucking whack. I don't like Quan at all. I can't hate him because I don't know him that much, but damn, I hate him as a character. He sound like a whole bitch. But Rock is not that much better either, because Rock receives the text from Joyce and she doesn't even answer it. She's not with it. She gets the page and she basically annoys it. At the hospital, the doctor tells Kanan and Jukebox that Joyce's cancer is worsening and she needs someone to take care of her around the clock. Determined to resolve the Quan situation, Rock arranges a meeting with Chavez, and who tells her that he should be the one initiating contact, not the other way around. However, Rock is straightforward and she's about her business. That's why I said I think it was Dion in the chat who said she has no redeeming qualities. I appreciate a woman who's about her business though. She has her own plans and ambitions in mind. Fostering a partnership with Hafez will be a big part of her next phase of her business. Meanwhile, Marvin has a moment to sit down and talk with Joyce about her recent ailments next to her hospital bed. She reveals that she's in a lot of pain and is worried about the suffering in her future. As such, she wants Marvin to end her life in an act of basically saving her from the pain. Ugh. Joyce, you asked your son to kill you, basically? Yeah, I understand the type of mother that Rock is now. This was the example that she grew up with. Elsewhere, OC steps inside a car with tinted glasses, driven by Unique. And our suspicions are confirmed. Man, OC ain't shit. OC's a fucking snake. He's working with Unique. Following up on he's basically two-timing Kanan and working as a snitch for Unique. He lets Unique know that they're having problems with the Connect, that Rock is looking for a new Connect. He also lets him know that Kanan is skimming off the top and taking money for himself. So he's giving Unique all the information that he needs to keep on his plan. Following up on their earlier discussion, Marvin shows up at Terry's factory to talk some sense into him about continuing the drug operation for the Thomas family. However, the owner is spooked after the attack by Unique and Damon, and he crosses the line with Marvin, saying that he's going to go to the police, he's going to snitch on Rock and Marvin, and Marvin's like, I ain't about to hear all this shit. He kills him in a fit of rage, and I'm like, God damn, Marvin, she said we needed him alive. We needed homie alive. What are you doing, Marvin? He's been having a trigger finger this whole season. That dude, that white dude that was his friend from season 3 has totally taken Marvin off the deep end. He has a ridiculous short fuse right now. He's still my boy. I still love you, Marvin, but goddamn. We skip over to Amani's apartment where she and Lou are naked in bed together. This was after Lou went to see his mother in the hospital, but he did make sure that he went to see Amani and he clapped them cheeks. Clap them cheeks, Lou. Clap them cheeks. They get ready for another round of sex while somewhere across town, a shoplifter stealing a bottle of a 40 from the store. They run around town where the shoplifter discovers a dead body under a mattress in an abandoned building. We soon learn that it belongs to Famous. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. And I know will be tomorrow. 'Cause today isn't yesterday. Oh, it's so hard to say goodbye to famous. Ooh. Our suspicions were true. Famous is no longer with us. Miss Figueroa shows up at the police station to identify her son, horrified at the fact that she was unable to save him. And he looked like he was in that abandoned building under the mattress for a while. Had to be like 3 months, maybe. Shit. Marvin stops by Joyce's place, where he tells her honestly that he is incapable of killing his own mother, even if it means relieving her from pain. She is disgusted by his decision and tells him to leave. In the dead of night, Joyce just goes in. She drags this shit so the fuck on with Marvin, saying, Marvin, sorry. Marvin, sorry. Marvin, sorry. Like Joyce's whole reaction to Marvin saying no proves that she might be more an even worse mother than Rock, even worse than Monet, which I think Monet is the worst mother of all the power moms, which there are a lot of bad ones. Kate Egan's up there as well, but Joyce might be worse. Joyce might be worse. Dion says Terry has no situational awareness. Yeah, Marvin Thomas is not the one to be talking all that shit to, especially when he has a gun really at his disposal. Dion says something about how they didn't show Famous's death on screen hits harder, feels real. Yeah. And I think that we are going to see his death. It's going to be probably a flashback, but I think Dion, we're going to see his death because we got to find out who did it. Let me know, Dion, in the chat, or anyone else who's watching. If you're watching on demand, let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think killed Famous? I'm going to put it out there. I think the person who killed Famous, which is probably the most that most power viewers have been saying when I've been seeing the conversations in the community, for the story, I think the best person to kill Famous is Marvin. Marvin's got the finger trigger. The only thing that stops me from going all the way is what we would learn in episode 6 about what happened to Famous. That stops me from being 100% sure. I'm like 80% sure that Marvin killed Famous. And probably on the direction the from the orders of Rock. Rock probably finds out that he was talking to the police, that he was possibly telling them that Howard was working with the family, and that Marvin was basically giving the order to kill Famous. So yeah, going back, in the dead of night, Unique shows his face in a dark alley as Quan gets ready to leave. The latter is surprised that Unique is alive, but given their past relationship, a new partnership may be in the works, complicating matters even further for Rock. Miss Figueroa gets on a bus to leave town. To go back home, actually. But on her way, receives another flashback of a grown Famous talking about how he is involved in a lot of bad businesses. And that flashbacks pissed me the fuck off. Because right there, he's telling you that he's done a lot of bad shit. So why, when you find a gun, would you give it to the cops? Damn, Mom. Olga, I have so much sympathy for you because, like, I never want to see a woman have to deal with an abusive man in their life and having kids that he's abusing as well at the same time. And I want to have sympathy for you, but god damn, remembering that conversation with Famous telling you that he was in a lot of business, that he did a lot of dumb shit, why would you give the gun to the cops? Frustrated. I'm frustrated thinking about that shit. She shows him a lot of affection like she always does. It paints the relationship in an even more tragic light now that Famous's fate is confirmed. However, we still don't know what happened to him or how he ended up where he did. Maybe Detective Garcia had something to do with it. I didn't think of that as an option. I didn't think of that as an option, but that is an option as well because he was very hesitant and he was trying to point the blame at everybody else besides himself. It could have been something else entirely though. The episode ends though with Kanan receiving the news about Famous on his phone, which leaves him shocked and saddened. He pulls out one of Famous's music tapes as he sits down on the sofa and reminisces about his best friend and the pain of his loss, which is sure to affect him moving forward. And it says like you need those like tragic losses in your life to kill the person that you were. And seems like we're getting closer at the same time. Like episode 4 was us getting closer to Jukebox becoming the real Jukebox that we saw in Power. It feels like the death of Famous is Kanan getting closer to the Kanan that we met in Power. We got Dion in the chat who says, "I think it was Marvin." Yeah, that seems to be the popular choice right now, and that would just cause so much more drama in the family because Kanan's gonna want revenge no matter who he finds out it is. But Jukebox, that's her dad, and even though she wants probably revenge for Famous's death, she's gonna protect her father. So that might be where we finally get the split between Kanan and Jukebox that we saw on Power. Is Marvin being the one responsible for Famous's death? Dion says that by process of elimination. Yeah, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Dion says, "I think Kanan and Juke might turn on Rock and Marvin, maybe set them up. I haven't seen episode 6 yet though. Yeah, I don't think Juke is going to turn on her father. They have gone through way too much and I don't want to see any split between them, but we do need the split between Juke and Kanan. And I think that if Marvin is responsible for Famous's death, I feel like Juke will be the one who knows how to kind of process the feelings more and knows that Marvin would not do this move on his own. He would only do it if Rock gave him the orders. So that might be the split between Juke and Rock. And I could totally see Juke being the one who kills Rock. I don't know if Kanan has that in him to kill his own mother, but I could see Juke being the one who kills Rock. I could see that. Dion says L for Olga. Yeah. Olga's been through a hard one. She's been through a hard life. Having that background and the flashbacks, I feel bad for her, but at the same time, I'm like, why the fuck did you give the gun to the cops? Damn, Mom. He says, actually, after thinking about it, Marvin may make it to the final season because he's too popular a character, kind of like Unique. I think I've said it before. I think that the best story would be if Unique has a full-on transformation of some type where he's no longer known as Unique and he goes by Breeze. I think that if we've been meeting Breeze this whole time, it's a lot more effective of a story than Breeze being a whole new character that's going to come in later down the line. Just me, but that's been my thought. That's been my popular opinion as of late when it comes to the story that's being told here. But another great episode. It was sad at the end with Famous, and especially Kanan's reaction, him really breaking down and getting emotional. The voiceover by 50 Cent was superb. He was like, "It fucking hurts. Leave me the fuck alone." That shit was hard. And you got all the emotions here. And I agree with what Dion said earlier. Not seeing Famous's death and everybody finding out about it made it feel very visceral, very real, and it hit you in the feels. It hit you in the heartstrings a little bit more than even seeing the death would have. But that is the review for episode 5, The Nail That Sticks Up. This was a lot about, memories and stuff like that. The voiceover from 50 at the beginning of the episode with the flashback was these memories kind of stick with you. And sometimes it's harder to try to forget them than trying to remember them. So Famous, we miss you. We gonna miss you, Fame. We gonna miss you, Fame. All right, let's give it our final judgment. Let me know in the chat whether you gave episode 5 a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Out of 10, what did you give this episode? Your MVP, your LVP, and your moment of the episode. For me, for episode 5, very easily, it's a thumbs up. I don't think it was as good as episode 4, because episode 4 gave you more of the highs, but it's one of the most noteworthy episodes of the entire season, because one of the most key central characters, one of the OG characters, is now officially gone, with Famous's death being confirmed here. So it's going to be remembered all season. Out of 10, I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. Very good episode here. A lot of emotions involved and a lot of backstory with Famous and Olga and Jessica and how they came to New York and everything like that. So it's a hard one. It's a hard one to even talk about and review, man. I'm going to miss you, Fame. Gonna miss you. MVP for this episode, I'm going to give it to Unique. I think Unique has all the chess pieces in the right spot where he's about to checkmate. He's about to checkmate Rock here. He has everything set up for him. He's got an inside man in OC. He's got Phil Russo as backup. All he has to do is set up shop and get things ready. He met up with Quan. He revealed himself to Quan. So now he's got to connect on these streets. So everything is seemingly coming up Unique right now. So I'm going to give him MVP for this episode. LVP, despite not being on camera, he did name his dog Hulkster. So it has to be Fame. Also, he died. So it has to be Famous. Famous is LVP for this episode, but we gonna miss you, Fame. We gonna miss you. And yeah, I mean, honorable mention for LVP to Marvin for the trigger figure with Terry. And Terry. Yeah, Terry. Terry's up there. Terry would be second, and then third, bronze medal would be Marvin. So yeah, that's the MVP, the LVP. My score for episode 5, The Nail That Sticks Up. We have episode 6 that dropped at midnight this morning. So if you haven't already, go and check that out. I will be back with you. I'm going to try to squeeze in a Power Book 3 Raising Kanan review sometime on either Wednesday or Thursday on the True Hill Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. We got a whole week of big content. Monday, we're doing our NJPW Windy City Riot review, as well as we'll have a preview for Progress in Las Vegas. We'll have Rated Raw review on Tuesday. We'll have Rated Raw review on Tuesday, and then we'll have previews for NXT Stand and Deliver and WWE WrestleMania 41 on the channel. We'll have AE Ramble not on Thursday, but on Friday next week, because we're going to review both Dynamite and Collision for the Spring Breakthrough specials. So we'll be talking about both of those shows on Friday. So we got a jam-packed week of content over on the wrestling channel for WrestleMania week. So go over and subscribe on that if you haven't already. And make sure you have the bell to stay notified whenever we go live, because we'll be live all next week over there. But I'm thinking either Wednesday or Thursday, I'll be back here. Probably Wednesday, maybe, here on the True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment channel, so we can talk about episode 6, because that might have been even better than these last 2 episodes. And I gave these last 2 episodes an 8 and an 8.5. So, Dion, if you haven't already, watch episode 6. Join us back next week when we review that episode as well. But I want to thank you if you're joining us live. Thank you most of all if you're watching us on demand. Appreciate y'all. Whoever's watching, we appreciate any of the support for our Power Book 3 Raising Kanan reviews for season 4. But we'll be back next week for another one. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you share this video with all your Power Universe fans, family, and friends on all your favorite social media platforms. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Help us out as we approach 1,000 subscribers on here on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. And check out all the great content we got here on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment for Power Book 3 Raising Kanan Season 4. We had our episode 1 and 2 review. We had our episode 3 review. Myself and Miss Krssi Love took care of that. And then we also have over here on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment our reviews for Daredevil Born Again Season 1. So we had episodes 1 and 2, episode 3 review. We did an episode 4 review, episodes 5 and 6 review, as well as episode 7. We'll be back on Sunday at 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time for our Season 1, Episode 8 review, which is another one where I could say, I think that might have been the best episode of the series. I think I already gave a 10 out of 10 for one episode, but this one was slightly better. It's also 5 stars, but slightly better. Match of the year, episode of the year for episode 8 for Daredevil Born Again. A teaser right there. So I'll be back with y'all on Sunday here on the Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel, back on the True Hill Heat flagship. So yeah, we got the thumbnail here as well for Daredevil Born Again Season 1, Episode 8. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it and join us back here on Sunday for that review. And if you like wrestling content, go over on the True Hill Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. Earlier today, I did our Dark Side of the Ring Season 6, Episode 2, Ludwig Borga, Hellraiser from Helsinki review. We also have coming up at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, my exclusive interview for True Heels BTR Between the Ropes with TNA wrestling star Leon Slater, the youngest in charge. We talk about his venture into Ultimate X at Rebellion, his mentorship with the Hardys, who he wants to face from WWE, NXT, plus much, much more. Check that out if you haven't already over on the True Hill Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. I'll be back over there tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time on the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. Myself, Top Guy JJ, and the True Jaw Josh talking about this week in pro wrestling with AEW Dynasty and the fallout from that ending with the return of the Young Bucks. We'll be talking about the fallout of Kevin Owens' injury, the fallout from the Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair shoot promo, and what would have happened, what should have happened, and what did happen, and all the backstage fallout from that as well. We'll talk about tonight's SmackDown. We're talking about Raw on Netflix. We're talking about NXT, AEW Dynamite, Collision, NJPW, Windy City Riot tonight, as well as TNA, Impact, and Ring of Honor TV. We talk about it all on the flagship, so go over to the main channel and subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when we go live tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'll be back over there on Sunday for our Dark Side of the Ring Season 6, Episode 3, Big Van Vader review with Jay News, so plenty of content for you to enjoy. But I appreciate y'all if you're joining us live, appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Hit the thumbs up, share the video, and I'll see you on the next one. This has been our Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4, Episodes 4 and 5 reviews. We are signing off until next time.